I am so excited to start this build. My name is Rick, and this is the first large project I'm going to document here on RomLabs. But I'm starting off with something surprisingly small. It's a con badge. Badges? Badges? But we don't need no stinking badges! Well, yeah, you do. Convention badges typically act as your ticket into an event. They can also be a great way of identifying yourself. Even some simple ribbons, buttons, or pins can be a great way to show off who you really are. But we're not talking normal con badges. We're talking about digital con badges, the kind with displays and microcontrollers. A common example of these are hacker con badges. They're as much about the creativity of the creators as the people who hack them to get them to do interesting things. I've always wanted to design and build one myself. I was discussing hacker badges with a friend of mine, Crayons, and he mentioned an interesting project he built for a friend of his. Furries use con badges as a way to show off their persona and art. Typically these are laminated paper or plastic badges. But if you're a furry artist who's known for animations, what do? Crayons was talking to one such artist, Jib Cody, who wondered about this exact thing. Crayons took on the challenge and delivered something very cool. The badge is based on a digital photo frame, which was a cheap source of a 7-inch LCD screen. As an added bonus, the LCD screen came with a controller that already had the ability to play and loop videos. Crayons also focused his efforts on making sure the badge would run off a LiPo battery for up to 8 hours and included a built-in Adafruit LiPo charger. Any badge gets abused as you wear it, and with electronics and an LCD, this badge needs some extra protection. To make it durable, Crayons designed and fabricated a laser-cut acrylic case. The case is easy to repair or replace if damage occurs. The result speaks for itself, and the response has been great from Jib's fans. In fact, Jib shared with me that he has seen the badge act as an icebreaker for those who may be too shy to approach him at a con. I was instantly hooked on the idea of doing a badge for myself, and it seemed like a great first step into the hashtag badge life. Crayons got me in touch with a few other furry makers who were working on their own digital con badge projects. After working on Jib's badge, Crayons realized he wanted a badge for himself, so he tried something a bit different with some great results. His badge uses a 7.5-inch bicolor e-paper display. He also found a custom driver circuit from Waveshare that came with a built-in ESP8266 microcontroller to drive the display. It's powered by a LiPo battery and is wrapped in a thicker laser-cut acrylic case to protect the more fragile e-paper display. Raster actually works as a graphics programmer in the video game industry. For his badge, he used a Raspberry Pi Zero and a Pi TFT display. Since the Pi TFT has a built-in touchscreen, he made it so you could actually boop it and add some really cool graphics effects. To me, the coolest part is he did this all in OpenGL. Last but not least is NX's RGB Matrix badge. In his first version, he used an Arduino Nano and a larger 16x32 RGB LED matrix. He has built a second version that uses a smaller but higher resolution 32x64 RGB matrix and is running it via Raspberry Pi Zero wireless. He used a 3D printed case and has gone through quite a few designs over the course of his build. So let's brainstorm about my version of a digital con badge. My plan is to use the same display NX did. It's a 32x64 LED matrix with a 2.5mm pitch. These RGB matrix panels use a protocol called Hub75. One thing to keep in mind is the LEDs themselves are not like dot star or NeoPixel LEDs, so you need a microcontroller that will be powerful enough to continuously refresh the display. My plan is to use a Raspberry Pi Zero wireless. Now that presents another issue. The display runs on TTL logic, where high is about 5 volts. The Raspberry Pi's GPIO outputs at 3.3 volts for high. My plan is to use an Adafruit RGB matrix bonnet to take care of the level shifting and provide an easy way to interface the Pi to the matrix display. One added benefit to the Raspberry Pi Zero wireless is Bluetooth. I want to use the Bluetooth Low Energy protocol to implement a simple control system via a smartphone rather than putting physical buttons on the device itself. Raster actually suggested a code project a friend of his wrote called Gobbledygook, which seems to make the BTLE protocol very easy to implement. Check the description of the video for a link to it. Power-wise, I'm going to use the Adafruit PowerBoost 1000C and a LiPo battery. But I'm going to do some research on this later once I get the hardware and software working well. These LED matrices can have some hefty power requirements, up to 4 amps if all LEDs are lit up white according to the specifications I've read. Let's talk about the case and how I plan to put it all together. I actually plan on having the display horizontal to better match the badge's first robotics competition uses, since initially my plan is to use it at those events. However, I'm leaving the design flexible so I can wear it vertically as well. Now I've seen 3D printed cases and laser cut acrylic used as construction material, but I wanted to try something a little different for my badge. I want to use CNC cut aluminum as the frame. The reason for this is twofold. One, I just really want to try it since I think it'd be really cool to look at. And two, my local makerspace is currently moving locations, so I don't have easy access to a laser cutter or a 3D printer, but I do have access to a CNC machine by a robotics team I mentor. I'm planning on using acrylic front and back panels to protect the badge internals. These will also be CNC cut. So that's the rough plan for my digital con badge Mark 1. I say Mark 1 since I'm already thinking about other versions of the badge I would really want to try, including an OLED display version. I also really want to try my hand at a true hacker-style challenge badge. Of course, the big issue with trying all of these ideas is that it requires some PCB fabrication and some SMD soldering. I hope to get into that more later on after I'm done with this project. So that's my plan for Digital Con Badge Mark 1. In my next video, I'm going to unbox my displays I purchased, do some bench testing and see how they work and what kind of problems I might run into as I use them. After that, I'm going to have videos planned where I talk about the Bluetooth control software I write and also the software I write to drive the RGB matrix itself. Finally, we'll get into design and fabrication of the badge itself and wrap it all up in a nice, neat package. I am so excited to get into this project. So please, leave comments down below if you have suggestions or if you've tried something like this in the past. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for all future updates on this project and other projects I do on RomLabs. Thanks for watching and keep making things. I want to give some shoutouts and special thanks to some people who made this video possible. First, the hacker badges you saw in the beginning were from DEF CON, and Not XOR, and DEF CON Furs. Links to their sites are in the description below. Second, a big thanks to Crayons, NX, Raster, and Manchas. These guys have been talking through ideas with me and allowing me to use their work in this video. Follow them on Twitter to keep up with their latest projects. Third, a very special thanks to Jib Cody and Crayons who allowed me to talk about their creation. It was important for me to share this history and both were very helpful in the creation of this video. Follow Jib Cody on Twitter to see his latest animations and to find out what con you can see him and his badge at next. Finally, a very special thanks to you for watching. Check out the video description for links to everything I've talked about and be sure to subscribe to RomLabs for the next parts of this project.